So one day, I swear, I'm going to write a short story about the great libertarian coup of 2021, because this is honestly just the gift that keeps on giving in terms of drama, in terms of juicy gossip, in terms of it being a soap opera. And yes, it has been actually very stressful for a lot of the people involved, and I want to acknowledge that. And I know some of those people, and I know how exhausted they are, and I know how tired they are, and I know how tirelessly they've worked over the last week. But this is ridiculous. The head of the Libertarian Party, Joe Bishop Henchman, the national chair, just resigned over something that started with tweets. This is all happening because of tweets. Listen, people take Twitter way too seriously. What people don't understand about Twitter is that everything that is said on Twitter is forgotten in like 2 days, even if it makes international news. Dude, I have had tweets that got tens of millions of views that are now forgotten somewhere off in the ether. I've had tweets that have literally been featured internationally in news that are now gone into the ether because Twitter is so dumb and so stupid, and yet people take it so seriously that it just led to the head of the Libertarian Party resigning. Okay, so we have to back up. We have to back up to Saturday, and I have done several videos about this on my channel. You can catch up. I've been one of the very few people covering this because, frankly, I was involved in this from the very beginning because I am in real life actually a member of the New Hampshire Libertarian Party, and I'm in all their chats and all their different groups, and so I have been apprised of what's been going on with this situation since the very flipping beginning. So I will give you the short version. Last Saturday, everyone got kicked out of the social media accounts, and they got their admin access taken away, and they were like, what the hell? Why can't we tweet? What is going on with the Facebook? Well, it turns out the chair of the New Hampshire Libertarian Party, a woman whose name is Joletta Jarvis, unilaterally took control of the party and staged a hostile takeover in which she formed her own political entity, rewrote the bylaws, created a loyalty oath, and kicked everyone in the New Hampshire Libertarian Party out of the party until they swore to the loyalty oath. Now, I'm a rather new member of the party. I joined probably within the last month or so. I joined the New Hampshire Party and the National Party, basically because I've had it with the Republicans, and I figure if I'm going to lose anyway, I might as well lose with the people that I'm actually most aligned with, like on principle. And I've been really enjoying it. It's like a close-knit group. The people are awesome. I agree with most of their stances on pretty much everything, and it's been really nice. Well, this woman decided that she hates the Mises Caucus because New Hampshire is a Mises Caucus state. There are a lot of Mises Caucus members, and Mises Caucus is like this upstart caucus within the Libertarian Party that's trying to make it actual libertarian again, that's trying to take back the Libertarian Party from all of the SJWs that have infiltrated to make it libertarian again. And so there are a lot of Mises Caucus people in the state. The state is basically like controlled kind of by the Mises Caucus, although not everyone in the party is Mises Caucus, and not everyone on the executive committee of the party was Mises Caucus. And Joletta Jarvis, the woman who staged the coup, not a part of the Mises Caucus, but she was elected by the Mises Caucus because they were trying to throw her a bone. Well, Joletta staged a hostile takeover, and that would have been bad enough, except that it turned out that Joe Bishop Henchman, who is the chair of the National Party, colluded with her in some way because he hates the Mises Caucus so much that he staged a coup of a state party. And then he basically tried to get the party disaffiliated with the National Party so that they can name Joletta's party the Prime Libertarian Party. And this has caused all sorts of drama for the last week. There was a meeting a couple days ago in which they were supposed to vote to give the rightful New Hampshire Libertarian Party access to the website again and access to the social media. And this was so confounding that they actually voted not to do it. They actually voted to withhold all of the email list and the website and all of these things pending a proper investigation. Well, in the impending 2 days since that meeting, one of the regional representative for this region actually ended up resigning because he did not support the proper, legitimate party in this coup attempt. There have been all sorts of shenanigans going on behind the scenes. And then we have this update today, because everything that the Libertarian Party does is public, right? So I can actually see all of the business emails that are being sent. And about a couple hours ago, we got this email from Joe Bishop Henchman, the chair of the National Libertarian Party, to the business list. And he says, members of the Libertarian National Committee, it has been 25 years since I first became involved with the Libertarian Party. I can still see my heroes like Harry Brown and Richard Ryder and blah, 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 all this stuff I'm not going to read. Joe Bishop Henchman is very long-winded. He writes long letters. But okay, so here's what you need to know. We need to back up a little bit. So when Joe Bishop Henchman colluded with Gilletta to stage a hostile takeover, basically what he had done is he gave her a letter saying, Gilletta, you are the head of the Libertarian Party in New Hampshire. And then Gilletta used that letter to stage a hostile takeover. Well, Joe Bishop Henchman didn't come out and say anything about this. He could have come out immediately and said, no, that's not what I intended that letter for. But he didn't do that. And he kept hemming and hawing and trying all these backroom deals till eventually, I guess, the pressure just mounted on him where people were like, what the hell's going on? And why are you throwing a state party under the bus? And it ended up with him resigning. To be chair has been the honor and privilege to bring my skills to realizing this dream to build a functional, effective, viable political party that stands for libertarian principle and wins elections to move public policy in a libertarian direction. From my professional life to building up successful organizations, I know the essential prerequisites is that we treat each other as adults and together sustain a culture of empathy, kindness, and professionalism. Joe Bishop Henchman has been throwing the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire under the bus for the last week. I don't believe a dang word of this. Not with what I've seen. This is like the leadership ability. I don't even care. You know what? Here's the thing. I don't even care whether or not he really colluded with Gilletta. And there is, a little bit of doubt over like how much he knew. They're trying to get an investigation into his emails to really see how much he knew. But at the end of the day, I don't care because his leadership was so piss poor from the moment that this started. It doesn't even matter. I do not trust that man to run anything. He is not qualified to be the chair of a party where he's put in a leadership position, and I can base that entirely on his utter lack of leadership in this entire affair. So all of this is nonsense. Let's see. In the back corner of my mind, for some time, there has been unease that this culture is going or gone, and I regret that I have now come to realize that it is gone from this committee and from the loudest and most powerful voices in the party. Here's what's happening. The SJWs in the Libertarian Party are realizing that their time is coming. They're realizing that there are actually people who are coming into the party that actually want to behave like libertarians. And this is what I always said, is like my biggest issue with the libertarian platform was not that I disagreed with the platform. Well, it was because the party sucked. The party sucked real bad. And I wasn't willing to come around to the Libertarian Party until the party started to suck a whole lot less. Well, guess what? I joined the Mises Caucus specifically because I want the party to suck a whole lot less, and the Mises Caucus is trying to make the party suck a whole lot less, and they don't like it. They don't like it. They don't like that the Mises Caucus is taking over in different states, and when I say take over, what I mean is they're getting duly elected to positions. They're doing it the right way. They're following the process. And so what these people have been trying to do for the last week is basically play dirty and go behind the scenes and cut all these backroom deals to obfuscate the proper process that everyone else is following. Let's see. The lies and threats levied against myself and good libertarians and friends, lies about my actions with regards to New Hampshire, and threats against any libertarian who tries to defend the party have made clear to me that we are now firmly set on a path I cannot continue to support. Joe Bishop Henchman has been lying for the past week. They're all saying like they're getting threats of violence. There's no proof of any threats of violence. And the other thing too is like he's saying that what's he saying? Like, so Joe Bishop Henchman actually threatened to sue people. He threatened publicly to sue people who went against him. He threatened a lawsuit against the secretary of the party, who he's now gotten his friends to try to remove from her position, which is bullshit and another story in and of itself. But Joe Bishop Henchman actually threatened to sue an elected officer of the Libertarian Party because she was saying mean things about him. At its root, the biggest problem I see in the Libertarian Party at nearly all levels is that toxic people are tolerated. One or two rotten apples spoils the bunch. Toxic people exhaust or drive out good people. Our mechanisms for removing such individuals and addressing such bad behavior are designed to be effectively impossible, and culturally, too many people who should have known better passively tolerate it rather than confront it. It turns off donors, repulses allies, and makes team principles unviable. This committee, when confronted with this problem, has chosen to react to it in the way a government teachers union responds to a complaint about a bad teacher: endless process, excuses, rationalization, feigned ignorance, and ultimately nothing but injustices for the victims. Dude, the victims in this scenario are the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire. They are the only victims in this scenario. You, Joe Bishop henchmen, are not a victim in this scenario. The very basis of that is absurd. They're the ones that have been screwing with the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire for the last flipping week. And now they're mad that they got caught, and he's right. They were mean to me, so I'm leaving the party. Good riddance, dude. I'm now convinced that many in this party want that toxicity. They thrive on it. It gives their life purpose. It makes sure there's always an enemy to fight. Not the Republicans and Democrats, but the actual threats to our liberty, but rather invented enemies closer to home and within reach of their vitriol. The toxic culture has recently been harnessed in the service of grouping with a declared goal of taking over the party and making it repulsive as possible to everyone except themselves. He's complaining because the Mises Caucus is actually mobilizing. People like the message of the Mises Caucus. They're joining the Mises Caucus, and then they're going to state conventions and voting them in. This is what he's annoyed about. Much like Michael Chager's bartender story, stage 1 is a few respectable people with odd ideas for messaging. Stage 2 is an organized push for projects unrelated or counterproductive to getting libertarians elected. Stage 3 is everything in chaos as we lurch from one self-imposed crisis to the next. Stage 4 is the purges. All previously asserted concerns about due process and fair play thrown out the window. Let me remind you that the Mises Caucus in New Hampshire could have elected anyone they wanted to be the chair of the New Hampshire Libertarian Party back in March, and they chose a non-Mises Caucus person. Now they're all running around. They have like libertarian derangement syndrome. They have like Mises Caucus derangement syndrome. They're all running around saying, Mises Caucus is going to purge everyone from the party. Dude, it was provably false. Now that the head of the party colluded to try to drive a state party out, I don't know that that's true anymore. Like, I think that they've learned their lesson not to trust anyone, but they were trying to work within the system. They were electing people that were non-Mises Caucus people specifically to try to work with them. So that's just all false. I'm cognizant and frustrated by the knowledge that the vast majority of LP members support where I would like to take the party, including a supermajority of our elected officials and longest-serving activists and supporters. But governance of the party is not decided democratically by all our members or by those who put in the most work electing libertarians. Instead, by those who are the most organized to turn out bodies at state and national conventions. Dude, that's how politics works. I'm sorry. If you don't get people to show up, then how do you think you're going to win elections? The National Committee's actions and inactions are now driven by fear of this well-organized group. In time, the advocates of these destructive tendencies will burn themselves out, turn on each other, and then leave. It has happened more than once before in our 50-year history, leaving principled libertarians to pick up the pieces and rebuild. But in the meantime, good people will be driven out of the party by those who wish to perpetuate this cycle. And most especially by those who now see it en masse, but will do nothing to stand up or speak out against it. I will not chair a party that knowingly has now affirmatively chosen to stay affiliated with the toxic garbage that is being spewed by the New Hampshire Party and similar bad actors in other states. The violent threats emanating from these people and the deliberate destruction of the party's appeal to voters and winning elections. Dude, if you can't mobilize people to go to a state convention, then what the hell makes you think you're going to win any elections? Therefore, I resign as the chair of this committee and from all subsidiary positions effective upon the declaration of the results of the pending email ballot on disaffiliation. I know that there are many people who come into the freedom movement through the Libertarian Party and are now questioning their continued involvement. Many supported me, sustained me, and worked with me to build what we thought was possible. I would like to extend a personal offer. If you would like to find a path, blah, 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 whatever. Dude, This is awesome. Trust me. Guys, if you have thought the Libertarian Party sucked, please look up the Mises Caucus. I will link their link in the description below. The Mises Caucus does not suck. The Mises Caucus is winning. They just got the chair of the freaking party to resign and write an email about why he's resigning, and it's all about them coming in and organizing and taking over the party and making it libertarian again. Oh my god, I'm so excited about this. I'm so excited. I do want to acknowledge this, so I don't know how many more videos I'll do on this topic, because, like, libertarianism is not my primary beat, but I will say, like, I just want to acknowledge that I know that this last week has been hard on everyone, and as much as I have been kind of publicly enjoying the drama of it, I just want to acknowledge that, you know, I've seen how hard people have worked behind the scenes. There have been so many people that are running on a couple hours of sleep. It's been an extremely hard process, but I really do hope that people see that this is all part of achieving the goals that they want. It's going to come with some pain. It's going to come with some sleepless nights. It's going to come with all these things. But this right here, this is a huge flipping win. And I hope that no matter what happens with Karen Ann Harlos and whether or not she remains the secretary of the party, and I hope she does, and if she doesn't, I hope she gets reelected at the next convention, and I know the Mises Caucus will be behind her 1,000%, because basically Joe Bishop Henchman's cronies are trying to get her kicked out of her position as some sort of revenge strategy, because they're all petty, petulant children. But this is good news. This is a big deal. And it all started with tweets. All right, guys, that's all I have. I'll see you soon.